at one-on-one discussions, yes, they are looking at that. We also talked to the MD of IHS,
Yes.
which is the number one
Infrastructure support company
that they are handling most of this network, because the telecom companies have already outsourced
those things.
network maintenance
Yes.
to third parties.
Yes.
So their primary role now is just set up the network and then manage your subscribers. The maintenance of the networks are in the hands of the likes of IHS, SWAP, and all that. And when we discussed with IHS, they said, we are looking at it, but that alternative source is expensive.
It is. I think that's the bottom line.
And it's not something you can just go to the shelf and buy. And imagine how many base stations throughout the country that you have to put alternative power source.
Maybe feed them for the major base station. Okay, let's say
there's no major base station.
Maybe let's say, for instance, in Ikeja, okay,
yes.
And you know that you have multiple base stations there to be able to have effective coverage.
Yes.
Okay, they can agree that at least to make sure that there is some sort of service,
Okay.
That things don't shut down sometimes completely as they do now. Maybe you have 10 base stations in Ikeja. Maybe at least we can make sure that 3 of them do get uninterrupted electricity supply. Isn't that possible?
No, I will also disagree with you, because you see, when you are running a mobile system, a mobile network, it's difficult to say you don't have service on your phone as you drive on.
Okay.
It is impossible.
All right.
Because each base station, like the CDMA system, is a 3-sector base station.
Okay.
Which means as you move from one location to the other, you leave base station A, base station B will take...
You pick up signal from there? Okay.
So it is very, very difficult to say, okay, you are not getting signal. The question is, okay, put it in a layman, how many bars are you having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
If you're having 3, that is fine. You should be able to, make call.
But when you have just one,
if you have one,
have
then
call
it's going to be
drops and all that.
Exactly.
Okay. So the challenges continue for our telcos, and hopefully they are beginning after 10 years now. They must understand the terrain in which
they have mastered
business.
it. They have mastered the environment. It's just that new issues keep coming up because you buy diesel. They give you the one they call beans. The MD will not be there to say, okay, let me measure the quality of this diesel. It is the same Nigerians that are supplying that are also taking delivery. And they steal them. They steal them.
Multiple issues.
What are you going to do?
Multiple issues. And I just try to understand how companies like MTN are coping with such massive load that they have to carry. It's not easy. So we continue to give them support, and we hope that with better understanding, they continue to master the terrain and improve the services. I know very soon another round of fines will come.
Maybe. Let's just look at another, 1 quarter.
Yes. Another 1 quarter.
Yeah.
But suffice to say that at least one of them have escaped paying fine the other time. Maybe have another company join them. But definitely, I know that MTN must pay fine.
MTN can never escape.
They can never escape. And of course, the fines is just very, 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 very little for a giant company, massive company like MTN. We take a break, and then we come back. When we come back, we continue in our series of the regulators training of those who cover this ICT telecom sector, because it's important that they continue to break down to you all of the things that are happening. Progress report on the broadband in Nigeria, so many other things that will shape the future of our country as we continue to see what the regulators are doing about all of this. We take a break, and then we come back. Don't go anywhere. It's a GlobalNet show.
There is no doubt that the protection of consumers has become the centerfold of all businesses, and it is highly pertinent to both developed and developing economies. There is need for behavioral and attitudinal change in the mindset of consumers and service providers towards this development. Thus, the need for massive sensitization and awareness creation on this course of action. Before I delve into this topic, we must understand who the consumer is, particularly who is the telecoms consumer. The telecom consumer is a major stakeholder in the telecom industry who uses telecom services and products. These may be individuals, they may be corporate bodies, communities, and institutions. As the regulator of telecom industry, the role of NCC informs the effective management of consumers, of which consumer protection is essentially a critical part of its mandate. The Nigerian Communications Act, NCA 2003, which governs telecommunication service in Nigeria, uses the term consumer interchangeably with consumer and subscriber. These terms are collectively defined as any person who subscribes to and uses communications services. Like any other consumer, the telecom consumer needs value for money, which I believe everybody is going to scream yes. Therefore, efficient consumer management requires effective protection of consumer rights in the industry. What are the rights of the consumer? By international best practice, there are, amongst others, about 8 basic rights of a consumer. This was also identified actually by John F. Kennedy in 1962 when he launched the Consumer Rights Day, because he said to his people, there are some very critical people amongst us who are rarely heard, and these people are indeed the consumers. Some of these rights include the right to be informed. NCC's initiative